Welcome back to another Sunday walk video. It's actually pretty gorgeous out considering that it is Christmas Eve. Right now it's like 50 plus degrees, and tomorrow on Christmas it's supposed to be 55. Probably the warmest Christmas Eve I remember. I'm in the Midwest. Normally by now it's like 30 or 20 degrees or 0 degrees. So yeah, I'm blessed with this beautiful 50-degree weather in December, which is awesome. But in this video, a couple things I want to talk about. I do want to talk about Bitcoin, why it has not moved yet. Why is it still stuck below 44,000 before spot ETF approvals, which we know is coming. So I'm going to talk about that. Also talk about memes and how it's driving up L1s like Solana. I made a video recently. To some it was controversial, but I don't think it's controversial at all if you put the facts together. So I'm going to talk a little bit more about memes, Solana, and other L1s out there. And lastly, I guess I want to talk about myself, me personally, what I've gone through over the last week or two. You know, I went on a big trip, came back, got sick. I also moved, you know, so there's a lot of stuff going on in my life. Hopefully most of it is now over. All right, first off, let's talk about Bitcoin. Bitcoin has been stuck below 44,000 for a while now. When I say a while, it's not like months, it's not like 6 months. We've been stuck under 44,000 for maybe, I don't know, a few weeks, right? But what's surprising is you would figure with all the news about spot ETFs being approved in the first week of January, you figure by now it should be pumping. Why is it not pumping? We got about a week left in this month, right? So we're right below 44,000. We keep hovering between 44,000 and like 43.5, and we keep kind of oscillating between these 2 points. So why is Bitcoin not moving? Well, there's three theories that I have, and I'm going to tell you what I think is more likely, but I'm just going to go through in no particular order. Number one, many in Wall Street think that ETF approval is not coming in the first week of January. Keep in mind, the very last deadline for approval is in March. And originally I said I believe SEC's going to push back until March. They're going to hold off till the last minute before approval. So that could still be a case. It's not a done deal unless it has been announced. It hasn't. There's a lot of insider stuff being leaked out. Fox News and Anthony Papagliano, Scaramucci, and a few others have like leaked out information supposedly that it's a done deal, 99.9% chance it's going to be approved in the first week, right? So theory number one is there are some in Wall Street, or many in Wall Street, that think that this is not a done deal. So if that's the case, in the first week, actually the first week and a half, January 10th is the deadline. So there may be a case, first week and a half, we don't get approval, Bitcoin might correct and go down, because many people feel like it's going to happen before January 10th. So that's theory number one. How credible is that? I mean, there's always a chance, right? To me, there's been too many things leaked out now, and we know that a lot of fake news and speculation, they get pushed, narratives get pushed, and media just goes wild with them. But this is from a lot of, you know, inside sources. And plus we see BlackRock amending their ETF allocation constantly, like 6 times now, right? All within a short amount of time, which makes me think that SEC is telling them do this right away so we can approve, right? So can this happen? Yes. If I was giving a percentage of this happening, I'll give it pretty high. I'll say there's, I don't know, maybe a 40% chance that this could happen. I'd say it's still more likely we get approval before January 10th, but I'll give it a high chance. 40% that we don't get approval. Maybe Bitcoin corrects a little bit. Then we have to wait a few more months until March. So if it happens, so what? We have to wait 2 more months. That's it. It gives us more buying opportunity. Nothing changes. Nothing changes. So that's why I don't really even care. If it happens, great. If it doesn't, then of course we get approval, and then this is irrelevant, right? So that's theory number 1. Theory number 2 is the SEC does not approve, and the entire market crashes. I think there are still some that believe this may happen. That everything that we're seeing, all that we're hearing, it's just a dog and pony show, basically. That Gary and SEC is putting on a show, making it seem like they're working towards progress, and then they deny everything. I think this is very, 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 very unlikely. Very unlikely. Might give percent on this, less than 5%. I just don't believe, with everything that we're hearing, that there's any chance of this. I believe that, if anything, we get pushed back to March. But by March time frame, I don't believe the SEC is going to say, no, we're just going to deny everything. It's just, Gary and SEC is under too much pressure. They've been taking too many losses. Too many people want this to happen. Financial institutions, the biggest ones on Wall Street and in the world, they're all looking for this. Okay, so, theory number 2 is, there are some on Wall Street that may think that this is all charade, and then it doesn't get approved, and then Bitcoin's going to tank majorly. I don't think so. I just don't see this happening. Okay, and let's play devil's advocate. Let's just say this is the case. Even though as unlikely as it is, with everything that we're hearing, let's just pretend like this happens. Bitcoin tanks in March, we don't get approval, right? And then that leads us to halving event in April. Does that mean that we just skip the entire parabolic run up after the halving event? No. You know what happened in 2020? Same thing. I think a lot of you guys forgot the last halving event was April of 2020. And guess what happened in March? We had a huge COVID dip. Bitcoin fell down from 10,000, 11,000 down to 3,800 before recovering back up. The halving event occurred and not a whole lot of movement. But we didn't just stop. Bitcoin started skyrocketing a few months afterwards. So it delayed the parabolic move by a few months. But if you look at when did Bitcoin really start skyrocketing in 2020, it was around like the July time frame. So after the halving event, we waited like 2 or 3 months. Then it started skyrocketing. So fast forward to next year, let's say the same thing happens. Bitcoin dips. Somehow it dips majorly because we don't get a spot ETF approval. We have the halving event. Then Bitcoin will continue forward. And plus, these fund managers, they're not just going to give up. They're not going to go, oh, okay, we tried. We're not going to do it anymore. No, they're going to keep refiling and refiling until they get it done. So even if this happens, it's not going to kill the parabolic run. And again, I think there's very, very little chance of this. Okay, so that's 32. 33, which I think is the most credible. If I was giving a percentage, it has to be like 60% plus, right? I think Bitcoin is being suppressed right now on purpose. Okay, sometimes you just gotta read between the lines or put 2 and 2 together. Right now, you would figure with almost a guaranteed shot of approval in January, Bitcoin will skyrocket. But retail investors, not a whole lot of retail investors, know about it or care about it, right? So what Wall Street is doing right now is trying to make it, like, trying to play it cool. You know, like, let's not go too heavy right now. Let's Bitcoin just stay where it's at, right? Let's slowly accumulate more before it happens, and then boom, that's when the FOMO hits, the rush hits after approval, right? So we got like 2.5 weeks, 3 weeks before the approval deadline, January 10th. So from now till then, we can see just basically no movement with Bitcoin. And it's just right now, price is just being suppressed, right? It could be, yeah, they purposely keep it under 44,000. Like, I don't have access to order books or where all the orders are placed right now, but I bet there's a ton of shorts set at around 44,000 to kind of suppress the market, to make retail think that possibly that spot ETFs is not going to move Bitcoin's price. I think that's a real possibility. Again, I say you got to read in between lines and put two and two together, because I hate to keep referring to this call, but this is recent and a lot of people remember. But the day that Coinbase announced Bonk was going to be listed was the day that Bonk went down 20%. And this was like 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, right? And I'm like, it makes no sense that it would go down after announcement that it was going to be listed on the biggest exchange in the US, and then soon after at Binance, right? And sure enough, the day afterwards, it started pumping and it went up like 50% or however many percent afterwards. So I feel like this is one of those situations. Like right now, we got this fake out kind of, or suppression, but when it happens, when a spot ETF approval happens, just watch out. You're going to watch Bitcoin's price go up thousands in a single day, and in the course of a week, a month, Bitcoin could be up, I don't even know. Seeing where we are right now, right? We could be up to near previous high. By the time we get to the halving event, we could actually see Bitcoin be at like 60, 70,000 by the halving event. I think that's actually really possible. We would be further along in this game versus previous cycles in terms of where Bitcoin's price is versus its previous top. And that's because we have accelerant like Bitcoin Spot ETFs, right? So I think that's a real possibility. Anyway, so that's my third theory, is that there's some kind of game that's being played right now by Wall Street. And you know how you beat that game is you don't fall for it. You continue to hold on, of course, in DCA. At this point in time, no one is panic selling, no one is dumping, everyone is buying. So that's the right strategy. Like, who cares? Who cares if Bitcoin's stuck below 44,000? Just keep on accumulating. That's really it for this. That's the only strategy you need to employ. That's it. All right, so that's number one. I want to talk about Bitcoin. 3 theories why it's stuck below 44,000. Number two, let's talk about memes. And let's talk about Solana, right? Memes right now, they're very, very hot. Very, very hot. This reminds me of when Pepe pumped in 2023, earlier this year. You had a whole bunch of, you had a meme mania. First of all, for a meme to hit 1 billion in market cap is no easy feat, and Pepe did it in crypto winter, right? So that was pretty amazing. But afterwards, all these ERC20 memes started pumping, and there was a lot of enthusiasm for a couple months, and then it died down. But it did bring a lot of excitement in a very boring market, right? And a whole bunch of people got in because of Pepe. We're seeing the same thing now because of Bonk. Bonk is over $1 billion. After it got listed on Coinbase and Binance, it's the third biggest. It's double the size of Pepe, and it's on Solana. So what did that do? It caused a whole bunch of new memes to come out. There's a ton of memes on Solana right now, and they're all generally doing quite well. Of course, most of them are still pump and dumps, but there are a few that are holding very, very well at this point in time. So, I've always said this, memes, meme coins, right? They're people drivers. They drive people in. And what they're doing right now is driving a whole bunch of people into Solana. That's exactly what they're doing. There's a ton of people coming to Solana. So, that's why I've listed memes as one of the reasons why Solana is so hot. So now, going back to the video I created a few days ago, which actually did quite well, but somewhat controversial, because there's too many people in crypto that's just way too tribal, and they have to defend the honor of their bag to the ends of the earth for some reason. So, I made a video recently saying that I believe in 2024 Solana will surpass Ethereum market cap. However unlikely that seems right now, there's a 6x difference between the market cap of Solana and Ethereum. But if you look at Solana's performance right now, it's astronomical. It went up almost, what, 900%, 1,000% this year? Since that video, Solana has gone up by like 20%. I think when I created that video, Solana was still hovering around 97. That was after it started moving already. And today it's like 114, 115. So it's up already like another 20%. So why did I make that video? Because I honestly think, I put everything together, I honestly think Solana can't do it. Ethereum will still move. Doesn't mean Ethereum's gonna die. I think that's why so many people had a problem with it. All the ETH maxis came out and said, you're crazy. You know, it's not gonna happen, this and that. The thing is, I just don't understand about any maxis. You could have ETH in your bag, and you could have Solana in your bag, and you could have Cardano in your bag, and you could have Avalanche in your bag, all together. But there's a lot of people that seem to be holding one only. So whenever someone speaks about something else that may surpass it, like all the maxis come out and have a problem with it, I'm like, who cares? Who cares if I declare Solana's going to surpass Ethereum? I could be 100% wrong, or I could be right. But that doesn't mean that Ethereum is going to die. Doesn't mean that you can only hold Solana or Ethereum. I just don't get that about maxis. I say that same thing about Bitcoin maxis too. But there's ETH maxis, and there's Sol maxis, and Cardano maxis. It's like you have to hold one or the other. Like, that doesn't even make any sense. But the reason why I said that is because just look at the facts, okay? Solana, let's go over the negatives first and then a positive. Very centralized because a whole lot of VCs hold it. Okay, VC, they call it, you know, it used to be called a VC coin. That's true. There's a lot of chains like that, right? And it was bad because not only the VCs hold it, but FTX held it. Still holds a ton of it. So, obviously, when SBF went down, FTX went down, Solana went down too, because everyone's thinking Solana's dead. SBF was the reason why it climbed so much, and FTX still holds so much, right? But look at where we are now. We're past it. SBF has been found guilty. FTX has changed itself. I think they're going to reopen, but for the most part, from what I've heard, they found everyone's money. So they're not only going to reopen, they're going to repay back everyone. I just don't know what the timeline is, but it seems like somehow through their investments or whatever, or misappropriated funds that have now been found, somehow they're going to reopen. But the thing is, FTX themselves, they still hold an enormous amount of Solana, but it's all locked. It's locked for like long time. So at one point in time afterwards, after the FTX thing, it appeared that they were going to like dump all their SOL, right? But if you look into the details, so much of it is locked for like 5 years, 10 years. They can't dump even if they wanted to. And then here's a surprising thing. They had like 20 or 30 million, I don't recall the exact number, that they could have dumped, that was unlocked, unstaked, yet they chose to stake it. FTX did. So that actually reassured a lot of people that they're not just go dump everything. They know the consequences they do, so they actually staked it. So I think after that point, that's when Solana started coming up. It fell to a low of like $8, right? A lot of people gave up on Solana, but a lot of people didn't. So after the whole FTX thing, they started coming up, right? People realized, so they're not gonna die. And then on top of that, you know, you had a lot of network outages. In 2022, they had like 6 or 8 network outages. 2021, they had a dozen too. So that was always their Achilles heel, is yeah, they're fast, but they have outages all the time. So they've been trying to patch it, trying to fix it, and apparently they did, because so far I've not heard of one time in 2023 where they had a network outage. So you look at all these things, right? All the negatives. No network outages, knock on wood. It could happen again, but as of right now, even with all the volume skyrocketing, no outages. So keep in mind, it's still early, right? It's not just with Solana. We've heard of other chains have outages too, like Aptos had one recently, Polygon had one recently, but Solana had a ton. And I've said that before, but right now it seems like they have solved that, right? So in terms of the FUD around Solana, most of it's gone away. No network outages, FTX isn't dumping. Oh, and what about the VCs? Well, VCs are good and bad. The centralized, yes, there's no doubt. But because of the centralization, those VCs are probably looking to cash out someday. So they don't want their investment to go to zero. So a lot of times these VC coins, they get pumped up like crazy, because either they're pumping it, they're buying, or they're getting their friends to buy, or whatever the case, or they get their market makers to do their thing. So VC coins, even though centralized, they do recover very quickly. They tend to recover quickly, and they pump up, especially during bull runs. So that's how I'm addressing the 3 FUD. But what about the positives of Solana? Okay. Well, I've mentioned this in my video. Fundamentals of Solana right now looks extremely strong. Extremely strong. Their volume has surpassed Ethereum by 20x. Their daily transaction count is over 20 million transactions per day. Ethereum is at 1 million, because they're capped by their how many transactions they could do. 20 plus million versus 1 million. DEX volume is higher. NFT volume is higher. Number of active users per day is higher. So as of right now, Solana is just being used more than Ethereum. So can it close the gap? If you're seeing the same type of volume or more, can you close that 6x gap in this year in terms of price? I certainly think it's possible. And I just got done talking about memes. Memes also, because of how hot they are on Solana right now, doesn't mean that they'll stay hot on Solana forever. I think we're going to see memes get hot on Avalanche and other chains like Polygon and so forth. We're starting to see them ready, but I think there will be a rotation. But I don't think Solana is going to go. They're popular, their memes are not going to die off completely, but that's also driving a lot of movement. And you have a lot of institutional interest too. Besides the VCs, like the fund managers, like Cathie Wood and Van Eyck and others, they're also paying attention to Solana too. So who knows if they're buying behind the scenes as well. So that's why I think you put it all together, Solana is going to have a fantastic 2024. It's had a great 2023. It wasn't the best. You had like Injective and Celestia do better, and I think Thorchain did better. There's a few that outperform Solana. So it's not like it's the best of the best, but it's certainly up there. And it makes other bag holders feel like, what am I doing holding other bags, or jealous, right? But again, I created my video because I think it can happen. I think it can happen. But again, the point of the video is not to like sell all your ETH to go buy Solana or go all in on Solana, right? Different people have different bags, and you can have multiple bags. And I've always said to diversify, never hold everything into one, right? So that's it. I think Solana's gonna have a really good year. And I've mentioned others too, like Avalanche, even though it's a slower moving right now. I think Avalanche's got a big year because of games. Right now, you see a couple memes. Of course, a lot of you guys know I've been talking a lot about Cock Inu. Also, unfortunately, this other one called Kimball, but they seem to have major problems, so I don't think they're coming back. But, you know, something like Cock Inu shows that there's an appetite of memes on other chains as well, right? But I think Avalanche is going to do very well in 2024. There's several. I think Injective will continue to do well. A lot of the Cosmos chains will continue to do well, right? And some of the older goodies, you know, some people have been asking about them. Just my friend the other day asked me, how come Cardano's not moving? You know, in 2021 they were moving just like Solana. How come they're not moving? And you can say the same thing about like Polkadot, Matic, you know, these goodies, oldies. Why did they not move? I think they will, but right now the money's just flowing into a lot of these new L1s that have come up quite a lot, and a lot of money have been flowing into like Avalanche and Solana. So I think you'll see them come up. They will trend up. Keep in mind, it's not altcoin season yet. Right now we're just in recovery mode. During recovery mode, you don't see crazy pumps from everything. But in 2025 we will. And in 2024 we will too, but not as much as 2025. Just wait. 2024 will be an excellent year, but 2025 will be even better. That's when we top out. And maybe we never experience another 70+% drop ever again after 2025 because of all the institutions and ETFs and people holding. We may never see that again. We may just go and start doing super cycles from now on. So that's all. All right, so that's number 2. Number 3 is just in terms of myself. I'm still recovering. You may hear from my voice. I'm a lot better than a few days ago, but I was really sick. But yeah, I was just tired out from my trip. Did a lot of traveling for an entire week, over a week. Came back home, got sick, then I had to move. So yes, I did pretty much fully move into my new house. I'd say 98%. My family and I started we're living in there now for a couple days, but we didn't move all the small stuff. We got a lot of new furniture, moved some of the old furniture, got most of it. I spent a lot of time yesterday redoing my studio in a new room. I was gonna make it really, really fancy, but then, you know, I'm thinking I'm just gonna do it slowly at a time. So it's a bigger room, but not extremely big. All my past equipment's there, so I gotta soundproof the room a little more. I have a little extra room that I may be able to do more like vertical videos and stuff like that. And I have space on the sides and behind me to do like screens and stuff. But again, I don't know how fancy I really need to go at this point. The show works. You guys love it. And I think it's more about content, you know, than anything, right? So we'll see. So starting on Monday, no, Monday's Christmas, so I'm not going to be streaming. Start on Tuesday, you'll see me in my new studio. But yeah, I've been getting that set up, getting all the electronics, the internet, everything set up. You know, my basketball court is done. I may put my laptop there and stream a couple days from there. You know, so I've been just, you know, getting the home set up. Yeah, a few small stuff we still need to move over. So yeah, so the last 2 weeks have been really chaotic. So hopefully things settle down. We're past it, and then we can move forward. But obviously, living in a new home feels different, way different. Been telling the kids to clean up after themselves a lot more because, you know, hate to see all the new stuff get ruined and dirty so fast. We have so many more stairs now. Making sure all the lights are off at night, it's a pain. A lot more stairs. The house is much bigger, but you know what? I wanted to build something that's forever, something I never have to think about again. We got everything we wanted. We'll never have to move anymore after this. And I think everyone's pretty happy. We're gonna have a lot of parties next year, so we're all good with that. Yeah, that's pretty much it. That's pretty much it for this video. So stay strong, my friends. I'm gonna finish this walk. Enjoy this weather while I still can. Being in December, pretty amazing. So hold on, and I'll see you guys. If I don't see you guys tomorrow, which I'm probably not, have a Merry Christmas, have Happy Holidays, and then I'll see you guys on Tuesday, and we'll see where Bitcoin and the entire market is then. All right, take care. Bye-bye.